Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show. John Henry Soto here with you. As always, it is April 13th, 2026, 7 a.m. here in Nashville, Tennessee. As always, this is a morning live space for artists, filmmakers, musicians, and creators who are navigating the real world of making art. On this show, we talk about positivity, but not the fluffy kind. We talk about what actually stops artists from moving forward, the struggles we all face, and how to move through them with clarity and purpose. We'll also highlight good things happening in the industry, share ideas, suggestions, and practical advice, and most importantly, have honest conversations. This is a live show, so if you're here, feel free to ask questions or join in. This is a place to reset, get grounded, and start the day moving forward as an artist. And good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Man, it's been a great weekend, but man, I am tired. I am so tired. And we're going to talk a little bit about being tired and getting things done, even while tired. Uh, John, stop talking already. I hate you. It's too early for you to tell me to be motivated about doing things. You may hear me. I agree. It is. But I tell you what, this is sometimes an affirmation, not only for y'all that I feel like I'm providing a service of some sort, it's for myself. I need to actually tell myself I should get up and go do things because I'd be tired. And I am tired today. And today is a long day. I got a lot of things to do today. But we have to keep going. Getting things done takes more than motivation. It takes discipline. We talked about a lot about discipline on this show. It's just part of the narrative of not only my show, but of a lot of things. People who get things done, they get it done because of discipline. There are days when you don't feel like showing up. Yeah, like this morning, actually. Um, when progress feels slow and when distractions seem easier than focus. But success is usually built in those quiet moments when nobody is watching and you choose to keep going anyway. Working hard isn't about constant intensity, it's about consistency, showing up again and again, even when the results aren't immediate. Like this morning, I got up, I went to bed a little bit later than I wanted to. I went out, hung out with a buddy, and got home and was a little tired. And did go right to bed, and I did fall right to sleep. But I think I only got maybe 5 hours of sleep, and not enough, not enough, my friends. And I talk a lot about this. You got to get sleep. So I might take a little nap later this afternoon at some point if I can. I don't know if I'm going to have time, but you still have to show up. I got up this morning at 5:10 as I normally get up Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. I went to the gym. I did my workout, came back, got some coffee, sat here, got some stuff ready, and now I'm doing this show here. Um, and it's so you know, it's not that I'm doing anything grand. It's not that I'm special in any way. It's just that I want to be able to keep my body in order, my mind in order to be more, be able to take care of myself as I get older, so my kids won't have to come in and try to take care of daddy in his old age because he can't walk or he can't or his mind is gone or whatever. Well, my mind is kind of gone already, but it's about being industrious, right? And I want to read, as I usually read, The Way to Happiness here. This is precept number 16 is be industrious. You can't see it there. Man, the light is like brutal. There it is. Be industrious. And he says here, work is not always pleasant, but few are unhappier than those who lead a purposeless, idle, and bored existence. Children gloom to their mother when they have nothing to do. The low mindedness of the unemployed, even when they are on relief or dole. Dole is sort of like the British version of unemployment, relief pay. Um, it's the low-mindedness of the unemployed, even when they are on relief or on the dole, is legendary. The retired man with nothing further to accomplish in life perishes from inactivity, as shown by statistics. People who retire and are in perfect health A few years later, they start falling apart because they have no more purpose. They're not doing anything. It's like they've been told, you did your time, now go do nothing. It's very difficult. We should not even have that in our vocabulary. We should be doing something, or at least an after retirement uh, position or something that you're doing. Even the tourists, lured by travel agencies called to leisure, give a tour conductor a bad time if he has nothing for them to do. Sorrow itself can be eased by simply getting busy at something. Morale is boosted to high heights by accomplishment. In fact, it is demonstrated that production is the basis of morale. People who are not industrious dump the workload on those around them. They tend to burden one. It is hard to get it's hard to get along with idle people. Aside from depressing one, they can also be a bit dangerous. A workable answer to a workable answer is to persuade such to decide on some activity and get them busy with it. The most lasting benefit will be found to arise from work that leads to actual production. The way to happiness is a high road when it includes industriousness and leads to tangible production. And that's from the way to happiness, precept number 16, be industrious. So, this is what I'm talking about here. At the same time of all that, hard work shouldn't turn into burnout or frustration. If you're always chasing the next goal without appreciating what you're building along the way, you can miss the meaning behind it all. The process matters just as much as the outcome. Every step forward teaches you something about your craft, your patience, and yourself. When you slow down enough to notice that, even the challenges start to feel like part of the reward. Man, how true is that? It's like we have to stop for a moment, especially when we're really just being productive and moving and moving and moving. Stop, take a rest, take a deep breath for a second. And by rest, I don't mean like lay down and watch TV or something like that. I'm talking about just taking a moment to reflect on what you're working on and what you're doing and have that respect for yourself. This is something that's so important. And just so many people don't take the time to really respect themselves. And I'm a broken record on a lot of these topics because it's so important and it doesn't change. If you go to any of these motivational guys that we follow, or people that are very gun-ho driven, the Grant Cardones, the Vaynerchuk, um, uh, um, who else? Anyway, Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, all these characters that are out there um, promoting work ethic and hustle. Gary V as well. I was talking about. We're trying to think about, and all these guys. It's the same kind of narrative. You got to discipline yourself. You got to find out what why are you stopping, what's stopping you, who's in your environment. It's all the same kind of thing, it's just told in different manners, right? And so when you're on that path and you kind of make that decision, right, because the decision comes first before anything, right? You have to decide that you want to do something, and then that decision is a quiet decision. It's not something that you're going to go out and post it all over social media. This is what I'm doing. That's fine. You can do that, but that's not really the decision. That's just the marketing purpose, or the, maybe, or maybe sometimes people use that as um, a way to hold themselves accountable, or just that they feel that they're really doing it, and it gives them some kind of strength that they're doing it because they made it noticed, right? They made it public. You can do that, if that does help. Yeah, man, do whatever it is, whatever it takes. But the decision is really a quiet decision. It's something that you just say to yourself, okay, I'm not messing around anymore. I gotta do this today. This is where it's coming from. It's coming from me, and I'm deciding how my future is going to look. I'm going to stay in the present moment. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to forget about all the mistakes I've made in the past because they do me no good up here. I'm here now and I'm moving up there, and I'm in control of that environment. I'm in control of that space that's coming up. True success is finding the balance between effort and enjoyment. It's working with purpose while still allowing yourself to feel present in the moment. When you can take pride in your work and still smile through the process, you're not just chasing success, you're living it. And that's the key thing. It's like that balance really makes you understand the importance of having stability for others. You have to have that stability for others. If you want to inspire others, if you want to motivate others, if you have children and you want them to grow up feeling like they can actually accomplish something themselves, all these things have to be balanced in a way that makes it easy for you. But at the same time, you have to work with a smile. You have to work through the process. You have to enjoy the struggle. You have to enjoy the actual process itself. I've done shows on the process themselves and different types of process, and what is it that's going to work for you may not work for the next guy or gal, right? You have to find that thing that really works for you, but it all comes down to the decision first. You're deciding quietly. Could be eating somewhere and you just go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start doing this. And you start right at that moment. You don't plan out, okay, I want to start on Monday morning. I'm going to start first thing, next year. I'm going to start. No, you start when you really make that decision, not a fake decision. And by fake, I don't mean, you know, it's basically you telling yourself that you're doing something that deep down you know you're not going to do. And we run into that sometimes, right? We know what we're not going to do and we know what we're going to do. And in order for us to continue to move forward, when you make that decision, it's at that moment that that decision needs to take place. Right at that moment, you stop what you're doing. You say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the next step. And you take the next step. Because the more you wait, the more you just hang around, the more stuff comes in. The more stuff comes into the mind, the more stuff comes in and changes your viewpoint. Or you're connected to someone who's kind of a moron, and they're gonna tell you, "Well, why are you doing that for?" Boom, you're done. You're done. Because you shot down. You're all excited. You're like, "Hey, you know what? I decided to do this," and they go, "Really? Why?" Why are you doing that? Boom, you're done. Now you may be strong enough and say, I'm going to do it anyway. Good for you. But there's a little piece that was just sucked out, a little of your soul was just sucked out because of that comment, because of that person's comment. So your environment is a key thing. We talk a lot about that as well. The goal isn't only to get things done and be industrious, right? But to grow into someone who can sustain success without losing joy along the way. Because we're all challenged with the same things. We all have bills to pay. We all have families to raise. If you have families, you have pets, you have a job you have to go to. It's the same kind of thing. And we're all on this path. Everyone's path is different, right? But a lot of the barriers that come into that path that you have to overcome are the same. And so being able to get through those barriers, but at the same time maintaining joy is such an important factor of how you're going to maintain it, because you can only go so far before you're like, oh, this is not even fun anymore, and you want to leave. So you have to first find your purpose, find your true thing that you want to do. You may have spent 20 years doing something that you thought you wanted to do, and you realize now you don't want to do it. Or maybe you just ran its course. You spent 20 years doing something, and you're like, now I'm kind of tired of it now. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something else. Well, that's when you sit down and you make the decision. I'm going to try to do something else. You don't have to have the answers right there, but you make the decision that you're going to do something else, and you're going to get things done. You're going to you have to get it done now, and that pressure that you put on yourself, I have to get this done now, it doesn't work. Just you make that decision, like, I'm going to start changing, and I'm going to grab a book. What's the first thing that I need to do? Okay, let me reverse engineer all this. What is it that I want to do? I want to leave my job. Okay, well, I need to find another job. Okay, well, I'm going to need a resume. Okay, well, let me get a resume together. Boom, you got step one. Just do that. Don't worry about the rest of it. You see, there's a lot of ways that you can go about it without stressing yourself into a corner, because this is what happens. And then Next thing you know, a few days go by and you're done with that thought and that decision, or that energy, that focus that you had for a little while is done. And then you're back to the grind, to whatever it is that you were working on. And it's not always something that you can catch right away. You can't just, you have to be very, very much in the moment. You have to remain in present time, remain in the moment. Stop dwelling, right? Dwelling never works. Nobody ever who was very successful said in a presentation, well, what I did was that I dwelled. You want to know my success, my secret to success? I dwelled for 20 years, and next thing you know, boom, I made it. You know, LinkedIn user says, "Hi there. Sorry, for some reason it's not showing your name there, but hello and good morning. Welcome in." So this is part of the challenge that you have to kind of. There's a lot of different things you have to overcome, right? There's your environment. There's your financial status. There's your the work that you're doing, the people that are around you, your family, your friends. All that stuff is it falls into the same pile, and now you got to organize all those things. So as you're grabbing your book of and writing down your notes and getting your battle plan, reverse engineering what you want. Okay, I want a new job. Well, I got to figure out, I got to get a resume. What kind of job do I want? Well, I like doing this, I like doing that. Am I qualified for that? Okay, maybe not. Let me take a class. Let me find out how much your classes are. Okay, these I have some free courses here I can take, and here's a class that costs $100 or $200, whatever it is that you can afford. I'm going to take this course. Now you got a little certificate based on that thing. Now you can go put that onto your resume. It's work, but you have to decide, again, the decision that you want this different thing and that it's going to be worth it. Is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth your while? We talked a little bit last night's show about time, putting in time. The whole show was about time. And, you have to find in within yourself not only the time, but the priorities have to be organized. Is it a priority for you to get a new job? If it's not, you're not going to get a new job. If you're just complaining that you hate your job, but you're not really taking any steps or anything to change it, you're not doing anything. You see what I'm saying? And and the complaining part is really slowly. This is going to sound harsh, but it's slow death. The complaining is slow death. That's what's happening right there. It's you're literally just dying, and you don't have a solution. You don't want to find a solution. You just want to complain that you hate the job, and that's just slow death, and it's painful, and it grows, and it gets worse and worse and worse. So find it within yourself. Pray to God, pray to find some kind of spiritual guidance that can actually help you. I think this is such an important thing for you to do. um I cannot tell you how much you have to work, because only you know what your challenges are. I can only tell you what I've experienced, right? I mean, I grew up in the South Bronx. I was homeless, I was poor, and I had a long journey to get to the point where I'm at today. And it's not been easy, and then I got married, and now I have kids, and there's just all these other challenges. That's my experience. Can't be yours. So I can sit here and give you all the motivation and gun ho, you can do it, but you yourself have to sit down and be like, okay, these are my challenges. This is what I'm capable of. Now I'm going to organize it, and I'm going to do my thing, right? Um, this is Whitney. Oh, Whitney, hey, how are you? I was the one looking for Leslie Odom. Yep, Junior. I'm enjoying your wisdom here. People who get success early often resent it because it came too soon to appreciate later in life. Oh, that's so true too. Especially I find I meet a lot here in Nashville of young people, college people, and they're going to college for something, and some of them graduated from college, and as they graduate, they're like, I'm not really that happy doing this. I'm really don't like this that much. Um, and now they have huge debt, going to college if they paid for it themselves, but through student loans or whatever. And now they have to get a job and they got to pay this loan. The cost of living in certain places, bigger cities that are, people want to live in, are it's higher. Um, you can't go to the country because there's no jobs there. The traveling is going to kill you. So you have to now you got to figure that out. So you run into a lot of that, and they get sort of success early, like Whitney was saying, right? You get the success by saying by I got my degree, I got my college degree, and you're showing it, and you're like, yay! Now you go out and you get yourself a job, and then that first year you're working, and then that second year, and the third year, and the fourth year, and now you're like, what am I? Fifth year, 6 year, you start getting close to 10 years at a job, and or at least in a couple of different jobs within 10 years doing the same thing. And you start realizing, maybe I didn't have all the answers at 23. Maybe I needed to expand a little bit more. Maybe I needed some more time to figure things out for myself. And now you're approaching, 40s and 50s, and now you have a family, and and this is where people start, you get into the midlife crisis kind of things, and men start getting toupees and start getting sports cars, and women start doing things to their faces, and tummy tucks and all those things, because they're at that stage where they're like, man, I want to try to recapture some of the things, that opportunities that I have. I'm still available, I'm still here, let's make this happen, and they lose themselves a little bit. So it's a very, very it can be very, very sad, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be sad. You, again, as I mentioned, living in the past doesn't work. Dwelling doesn't work. Living in the moment, counting your blessings, making lists, having battle plans, finding a group that you can actually that can hold you accountable, and you can hold others accountable, and you create a nice team. Um, Communicating to your family what your goals are, if you're unhappy and you want to kind of work, being honest about it and having open conversations. All these things are a part of the work, and only you can really see what that's going to be for yourself. You can't really just you can't do what I'm doing, right? We're all individuals here. So, all right. Well, I hope that helps. It's Monday. We got a lot of things going on today. I'm very, very busy. I hope you're doing all well out there, having a blessed morning. Take care of yourselves. I will see you all tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Central. Again, if you have any topics that you think I should cover, please just throw them in the chat, or send me a message at johnhenrysoto@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll cover those topics. I'm always looking for things to talk about, and to different viewpoints and different angles on stuff. So just let me know what your thoughts are. All right, friends, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless you all. I'll see you tomorrow morning. And as always, peace.